Not live. And now coming from the fabulous Sunset Strip in Hollywood, California, it's the Bob Dean Show.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start off, I believe, episode 48. Am I right this time? Maybe 49. Who knows? We're having so much fun. Who's counting? But for those of you that are, thank you for tuning in and listening. It is hot as double. It's hot as hell here in Los Angeles for what it is for us, and the traffic's been an unusual nightmare today getting into Hollywood for all of us. So as I sweat on camera and my hair sticks straight up, I want to welcome my lovely sometimes co-host Kathy St. George.
Hey, nice to see you all.
And Mike, I could just fucking your last name. I just forgot. I'm sorry.
I forgot it too.
I forgot my ex-husband's
No,
name.
I do this all the time.
Gaines.
Gaines.
G-A-I-N-E-S.
And we've met several times. And forgive me, Mike, please. And you know what? Just ask Joe White over there, whose name I finally remembered. It's not a joke, y'all. I've got some kind of disease. And Samee Junio and Dennis Olson over here.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Please forgive me, dude. I'm telling you, it's the heat. And a special shout out to Zach Herndon. Hello, Zach. Remember that time we were on our way to the Laugh Factory in the convertible when it was brand new and we ran out of gas? Well, guess what? Dennis and I ran out of gas on the way to the studio tonight in the exact same spot, and we coasted into the exact same service station.
And the pump we pulled up to was out of order.
Yeah.
You had to get out and push the car back.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I had to push it with Zach the
Up
other
a
time.
hill.
Yeah, well, the whole point, the irony in this whole thing is that the traffic sucked so bad on Sunset Boulevard that by the time we coasted in, pushed the car back, put $20 worth of gas in it, the light had changed red to green twice, but the car that we were behind when we coasted in was the car we got back in behind. And I know you went through it, and you went through it.
Yeah.
Coming from whatever. Anyway, welcome to the Bob Dean Show. Yeah. Honestly, it's so hot and flabbergasting. Let's see what else is going on. This show will air on Friday night. Today is Tuesday the 15th, right? 17th. Oh, yeah, because I did a show on the 15th at Flappers in Burbank, and it was great. Thank you all who made it out there. And I will be at the Ha Ha Club on Monday the 23rd. So I hope you all that's what will be coming up after the airing of this show. We're going to talk tonight about everything under the sun. We're also going to get to our Just Jump game show here. But I want to talk to Mike Gaines first, excuse me. Mike and I share the same barber, Tom Herco. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Who loves documentaries and stuff, but I still can't get him to watch this one. We've been going to the same barber for like 14 years in Santa Monica, the Berkeley Barber. And that's how Tom hooked me up with Mike about doing a stand-up comedy photography expose, and we never did get together on that. But Mike and I have had coffee and talked about a lot of things, and Mike is a very interesting guy. And he is going to tell us about the HBO. You worked with Robin Williams back in 1970. 77.
Well, yeah, we kind of worked.
Well, tell us the story.
Okay. I was taking a film class in Hollywood at the time, 77. I was also taking stand-up comedy workshop with Off the Wall, which I think used to be Santa Monica and Fairfax. And I brought a date to one of their performances on a Friday night. And Robin Williams, who I'd never heard of before, you would sit in with them and work out, do improv with them when he was in town. And if you can imagine seeing Robin Williams for the first time, that's 41 years ago, I think. It was a mind blower. I mean, I've been a comedy fan all my life, pretty much, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I need a subject for my 5-minute short film. This guy would be a fantastic subject. So I went up to him afterwards, introduced myself, told him what I was up to. He said, "Yeah, I'll be your subject." I said, "Fantastic." So the plan was we were going to film at the workshop. I had all my class to be. I was going to be the director. They were the photographer, the cinematographer, crew, etc. I would direct, and then we had just that one night. So a week before, I said, "Robin, I want to come and do an audio interview with you, asking you all the typical interview questions as a what's the word, amateur interviewer."
Yeah, novice, amateur.
Am I talking fast enough?
Yeah,
You're doing
talking
great.
just fine.
Okay, this is very nerve-wracking. Anyways.
Trust me. Relax, dude. You're
You'll
among
get through it.
friends,
Oh,
really.
okay. Well, I said, hey, Robin.
This ain't CBS.
Wow. So, anyways, he said, okay, fine. So we set a date, and I remember one quick funny story. I was looking for his address, and he was at something north. I don't ask me the street, Hollywood somewhere, average apartments. And so I knock on this door. I said, hi, is Robin there? Robin Williams there. He said, Robin who? I said, Robin Williams. He says, I never heard of him. And I realized I was at the south part of the street instead of the north part. So anyways, we got together. I did the interview, had 45 minutes of interview with him. And he was very nice. He offered me a health drink straight off the osterizer. I think he'd gotten up from a nap because I like to think he'd gotten up from a nap because he would yawn every now and then in the interview. I'd rather think he'd had the nap than he was bored to death with me. And basically, I was just blown away. I think hopefully it'll come across on this.
Let me ask you this. Now tell us, because Monica is going to kill me because but Monica Matlich, remember our lovely friend Monica, who was in our first or second? I've known Monica for years. She's totally cool. I think you guys were in the same improv group because she's this tall, beautiful Serbian chick. You might not remember, but I think you guys might have been in the same group. Maybe not at the same time, but that's where she met Robin Williams.
Off the wall.
And you knew him from years ago. We'll get into that later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I should have done my homework. Monica, forgive me, but that's how she met Robin in an improv group, and you guys might have very well been in the same group.
I can't remember hardly any
Well,
names.
but that's what I'm saying, though, is that I'll have to look
It's
into it, and then if so,
possible.
I'll get you guys both in.
It's possible.
So you were working on
It's going to be a 5-minute short documentary film. The idea was the nature of improv comedy from the performer's standpoint. I mean, you look at the title of the new documentary is Robin Williams, Come Inside My Mind. It was very
and that
similar
premiered
idea.
last night on HBO.
Yes.
And some of your audio from your interview is featured in that.
They used a whole 30 seconds of my interviews, which I'm very proud is in the film.
Absolutely, that's a lot of time in a documentary of somebody that's had such a esteemed and long career.
So it's I'm very proud.
Well, kudos to you on that too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm sorry.
I said kudos to you on that. Your interview
Yes.
from 41 years ago being featured.
Thank you for the kudos.
Amazing.
Now, we're going to hear a little bit about from that interview
Yeah,
on
I
the
picked
show
that
tonight.
just from the beginning of it. I picked out about 6 clips or so.
Well, please do. Please
And
share.
I'll do a quick introduction on them just before we begin, and you'll hear it in here. But I'm just thinking about it. How impressed I was with his intelligence, his articulateness, the way he gave thoughtful answers to all my questions. This is before he was super manic. He had just started doing some little bits on TV at that point. So I'll let him speak for himself.
Please.
Obviously, let me see. I hope this works.
And while you set this up, I'm also going to mention that Samee and Joe is at J.D. Hinton, who's been on before and will be on again. We were talking last night, and he was on the second episode of Mork and Mindy. So the 6 degrees of separation between, Robin Williams, who I never knew, but everybody loved, between Mike and Monica, and you are going to tell us a little bit, and then JD, we'll have to have a show just about that. So please, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so this first clip, my question, you might not hear my voice as well as Robin's, so my question was, what type of comedian would you describe yourself as? Grammar on that might not be too great, but here.
Huh? The first question is, what type of comedian would you describe yourself as?
I describe myself as crazy with soul, I hope. I mean, the madness, I hope there's a lot of madness, but I hope at the end it has some guts to it. That's what I really want to do eventually. Characters, as crazy as I can get, but yet still have a lot of soul, like Lily does that, Richard Pryor does that. People like that. That's who I want to be. Right now, I think I'm just in the beginning, so it comes across pretty berserk. I'm just now starting to do TV and learning about the limitations of that. Let's see, what else would I describe myself as? Many people say just crazy. I mean, very zany stuff, but a lot of people like some of the characters people really love. I don't do much of myself, just do characters, basically. A character can be a comic actor more than a comedian. I don't tell jokes, I just use characters as a vehicle for me.
Wow, that was
Wow.
beautiful and haunting.
It's so good to hear his voice.
Yeah, really.
And what's especially cool is just well, first of all, he gave kudos to Lily Tomlin and Richard Pryor, two of my favorites. But wow, what a wonder just to hear his voice and to just be straight up about the things that he wanted to do, characters.
Yeah. I love how he was, not on so much and just giving this straight answer.
Exactly. Seriously, that's why I said it was so haunting, because it just sounds like he was so calm at the time, and every time we see him, he was always such full of energy and all over the place.
Let me just make one little comment
Please.
for anyone listening. If anyone's interested, of course, they could get in touch with me later on. But please know that the entire interview was very thoroughly, professionally copywritten. I mean, I had to get an attorney before we dealt with HBO to be sure we had a full contract and all that. So be very careful about, anyone has ideas for using the parts, they really should get in touch with me.
Well, of course,
that's all I'll
but I
say.
mean, we're using them right now, so we're in touch with you. And I mean, but listen, on the Bob Dean Show, yay! And with
Yeah.
respect to Mr. Gaines, we're listening to some of the most wondrous interview that's on the HBO special.
Terrific.
It's possible that it might be the very first interview he did. I always feel kind of embarrassed to say that, but it might be true because, not many people knew who he was. He was just starting out, so I don't imagine that there would have been, an interview at that point. I had a specific purpose, as I explained before. So that's kind of cool. I
It's
think.
very cool.
When did Morgan Mindy start then? It was like
That was
77. It was
77,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
Okay.
Same.
So it had to be that probably just when he was getting ready to launch with that.
Yeah, just before. Okay, so thank you for the applause. The second, I did study improv. Forgive me, it comes out.
Yeah, well, see, when I
So
fan,
embarrassing.
that's my form of applause.
Okay, so, the second one, let's see, I think I had asked him, forgive these questions, but pretty basic. What skills, talents, etc., would you say are necessary to be a good comedian?
No, this is faster, please.
I think all that's necessary, really, is just the guts to do it, to try it, number one. It's all a question to me of like madness or that style, your own style, and the ability sometimes to keep going no matter what happens. The best comedians all have they've tapped something in themselves that's totally berserk, or they found some source of either, sometimes like with Woody Allen, there was his neuroses, and with other people, with Jonathan Winters, it was his neuroses, and he just went berserk sometimes, He spent a lot of time away.
I loved him.
I don't know. Plus, the special skills, I guess, is just, sometimes it's that ability to take the chances, and sometimes you eat it, too, because you'll be in front of people, and it's dangerous. When it works, it's incredible. It's a great high. When it doesn't work, it's a drag.
It's funny because I used to compare him to Jonathan Winters, the way his humor was and everything. It's,
Yeah.
and he was kind of manic,
Very similar styles, and of course, Winters was his idol.
I loved
He
Winters, too.
Winters, and I have I think all of Winters' comedy albums.
I just met him before he passed away. He sat next to me in an autograph convention, and I got to meet him as his daughter or granddaughter.
I bet he
think
was
it
great.
He was so nice. Yeah, he was really nice.
You get a chance to talk to him a little
Yeah, I actually wanted to get his signed book.
Like Bill Cosby's.
Well, only I'd like to remember getting it.
Where did that come from?
But he passed away shortly after. Yeah, he was signing autographs in near the airport here at a show convention.
Like, these clips are just so wonderful. They truly are.
Oh, well, thanks.
Do you have more?
Okay.
Please.
If you insist.
It's great to see how he thought, his thought
Really,
process.
this is honestly, it's like, I don't know what to say, except I feel like I'm in the room with him.
I just took my gum out in case.
And please, I'd love to hear more.
Okay.
We'd love to hear more.
Briefly, I met Jonathan Winters also. There was an award show, and Robin Williams was emceeing it, actually, and giving a Winters special award.
Oh,
Went to have dinner at the restaurant next door. It was near at the Alex Theater, and there was a restaurant. And we go in the restaurant, sit down, and who do I see? Jonathan Winters he's leaving, and I'm embarrassed to say I practically took his hand and thrust it into my. I
It's
said,
Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, right.
I said, I got to tell you, I just absolutely, I'm such a big fan of yours. I love your work. Had all your albums, and I ended up getting his autograph on his first LP album that I had in my collection. So.
See, that's what's great is when you get something like that. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get something a little more personal than a photograph or something, And yeah, I watched his show every week, when I was a little girl. I loved him.
Hilarious.
He was so funny.
And every guest shot that he did, think of back to Jack Parr, right? Jack Parr, and Steve Allen and Johnny Carson. Every time he was on those shows, he was just
He had everyone torn up.
Total crack up. Yeah, he was fantastic. Okay. Third clip.
I'm loving this.
Me too.
Clip on, because the first person I'm going to send an email to after this is Lily Tom. I'm going to say, girl, Robin Williams gave you kudos along with Richard Pryor. I love Lily Tomlin. I'll say one.
She's
best.
too.
Anyway.
Okay, so the third question was, when did you first become aware or first start thinking of yourself as having an ability to make people laugh? Well, that's a lot of words.
The next question is, when did you first become aware or first start thinking of yourself as having an ability to make people laugh? Or maybe you can remember the first incident that might come to mind.
It was in high school. Like when I was a senior in high school, I got voted most, what was it, some weird shit. It was most funny person or something like that. And it was weird because I was really strange then. I was at this all public high school in so it was called Redwood High School. It's up in Marin County, and I'd just come there from an all-boys school. I was just amazed. I was blown out. There were women there. And I just went berserk. And I was still carrying on briefcases and wearing glasses and stuff. It was very interesting. I mean, and then I just started it got loose. It was much more fun. Made a lot of people laugh. Wrote stuff with some friends. But then I dropped it while I was in my first year of college because I was studying political science. And that wasn't going very well. I found an improvisational group. I forget what it was called. What was it? Karma Pi. It was this group we formed. And we started playing. And to me, that was worth the first year of college. It got me going this way. Because it was just a group of crazy people taught by this great woman, named Dale. And it was a lot of fun. Really, we put on performances, and it's got to be a very popular thing.
Wow.
Class clown, probably, because
yeah.
that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
was too.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I was senior class favorite. Robin Williams, wow.
That was great.
I'm speechless. This is
It's
so
nice to hear his
honored.
voice.
Oh, I'm honored to have you on the show to share your artwork with Robin.
You're the first person I've ever been interviewed by. I mean, well, I was stopped at a traffic light once, but it's different. It's a very short interview.
First time on
Yeah.
the Bob
Didn't
Dean
go
show.
well.
Doesn't end well, exactly.
And Mike, I'm gonna be milking your name and this interview on for the show as much as I can, if that's all right with you, because those things need as much. See, the people that have heard the clips from this, the 30 seconds on the HBO special, will be able to hear more of this on this show.
Yeah, actually more. Yeah, here than probably was. Well, I don't
Do you
know.
have any more
I
to
know
share
it
with us?
adds up to. Yeah. Oh, but I just want to say, I enjoy your performance very much. I saw you at the Laugh Factory.
Thank you
He's
very
good,
much.
isn't he?
Thank you. Thank you. It's okay to clap, everybody.
Now we're loud. Now we're allowed.
Thank you, Mike. It's very kind of you to say, and I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
I mean it. It's not the $5 you handed me before
Okay.
I sat down. No, really. I mean, and you're clean. I so respect comedians that maybe I'm old-fashioned. I am old-fashioned. Okay, what the hell?
I don't like to. I let certain words slip from time to time, but it's not a basis of. Yeah. Thank you.
The first time I did stand-up, I couldn't believe the stuff that was coming out of these people's mouths, and I had a lot of friends there that tend to be on the conservative side, and I'm just like I'm sweating bullets. These people were. Well, I shouldn't go into that now. Anyways.
But no, I appreciate that compliment, and I will take this time to say, you can check out my comedy on bobthesurlycomic.com, and you will see that my core act stays kind of the same in a lot of the videos, but there's a lot more to branch out when you come to the show itself. But thank you, Mike. Please continue.
I mean it. Let's see. Okay, so this question was, who were some of your early influences? Some of the comics you really liked and kind of drew from.
And who were some of your early influences, some of the comics that you really kind of drew from?
Oh, I think, yeah, the guy that Jonathan Winters was one. And then recently, I guess, who else? I think Richard Pryor. I think Jonathan Winters most of all. You know, I mean, Lily too, Lily John, I keep calling her Lily. She, between those three, the three of them did a lot to her. And I think some of the English, Peter Sellers too, I think, another type. And a show called The Goon Show. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Oh, it's great. Crazy stuff.
That was a British show?
Yeah. Peter Sellers, Spike Milligan, and Harry Seacombe.
Wow.
Spike Milligan, yeah.
I don't think I ever saw.
I've heard of Spike Milligan, but I'm not familiar with him. Well, I don't know what to say. This is so nice. Possibly the first interview with Robin Williams.
Possibly.
Before fame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say it is. No, we can't say that. But it's quite possibly the first time it's been shared with anybody and on the Bob Dean Show.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, get on with it.
Plus, he's so focused and quiet because a lot of times when I would see him, he's like running around.
yeah.
That's the key. That's why I
Yeah.
said it from the very first clip. It's so haunting because it's just like, you know, I don't know.
It's just
this is
very
a gift
sincere.
for me to hear.
No, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Very, very much.
You know, I've always been fascinated with creativity and the creative process because to me it's mysterious, and because I partake, I'm working on my first screenplay. It's a science fiction romantic comedy about Hollywood. I try to get all the genres in there, so hopefully so.
Well, congratulations. Can you tell us more about that? Is there
see.
room for a fat, hairy old guy that does stand-up?
There,
I can recommend
And
somebody.
sweats a bit.
And sweats.
And runs out of gas.
Oh, we all run out of gas.
Yeah, in
But,
LA.
but tell us more. Can you tell us more about it? If you'd like. If not, we can do
yeah,
another. Because you don't want to
a
reveal.
little bit. I mean, it's the whole idea. I mean, there's romance, there's comedy in it. I studied comedy writing as well, so that comes in handy. The creative process is what I'm getting back to. It's like a voice in my head keeps saying, "You don't know what the hell you're doing here," and then I just say, "I don't care. I'm going to keep writing," because writing is basically rewriting. That's the process. So it's not like everything's not perfect. I don't care. I just want to get through it and get to the end. I think it's a unique idea. I think it is funny. I think it's original.
Well, that's like when I write. It's because I write all my own stuff, and I think it's pretty decent. It's funny, makes me laugh, makes the audience laugh. That's a bonus. But it starts with a million little pieces of paper, and then I put them into spiral notebooks.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to feel like you were saying before that when we had coffee that day, you were saying that you just kind of like we're in sort of a block, and then it was starting to come back. Well, I do that all the time. It's like I wake up and I go, I should write today, and I'm like, nah. It's noon. It's time to get up, and I believe the People's Court's on. But then when you do feel like writing, it's like it's God, I love it, man. You just like
When it's flowing, it's a very pleasant.
Yeah,
That's what I was
what I'm
just
saying.
thinking. I love it when it just flows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, why don't you tell us about an experience with you and Robin Williams?
No, I mean, I just knew him through mutual friends. I
Well,
mean,
you've
plus
known
the mansion.
so
He used to
many
go up to
people
the
through
mansion,
mutual
yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
The more
my
I get
neighbor right now was really good friends with him. I told her I was coming today to do this, and she was like, "Oh," she got all misty.
Well, you know everybody who's anybody, and it's so funny because
And I'm usually avoiding the loss, so that's
tell me about it. Hello, I know. Why do you think I keep
living
fanning?
off the grid, as they say.
Well, but I mean, so many people. Did you ever meet him in person?
Oh yeah, I met him and hung out with him with friends. In fact, I was.
Were they at
Sitting-
Fabulous Studio 54 parties or things
No, it was all in L.A. I always saw him in L.A. And I remember one night I was with friends having dinner at Morton's, and someone came up behind me and lifted my hair and bit me really hard on the back of the neck.
Are you kidding?
And it was him. So I was
He bit
like,
you on the back of your neck?
Yeah, he bit me.
Can I see? Can I see?
Well, didn't break skin, but definitely
Thank
shocked
God.
me. No, he was very funny and very like that, very impulsive and very, he would make you laugh all the time. So it was fun. But he also sweats. So
Yeah,
there
remember
he
that.
is.
See?
He's a very successful person. There you go.
Maybe through, I don't know. I can only hope that possibly Robin, who we all love, is even listening right now, that maybe you're sweating through me.
I used to say all his burners were on high. He was a stove with all his burners
I
on high.
sweat like a FF, you know what?
It's because your adrenaline flows when you're, and he was always being funny, you know. So his
And
adrenaline
very
was,
physical.
and yeah. So he was always kind of, it was like working out.
Yeah.
But he was a great guy, very sweet, and it's like I said, it's very nice to hear his voice in this because.
Well, you know, I'm going to have another episode with you and Monica and JD and you, and we'll figure out how to get everybody in. So we can all listen to this together. Be really
That
neat.
would be great.
Do you have any more clips to share?
I think I still got a couple.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I'm telling you that you can. We took the convertible today. It's hot as blazes outside, and I just can't cool down.
It's funny because I met this woman once in Florida before I even moved to California, and I was doing her makeup because that's something I also do. I'm a makeup artist, and she was a comedy writer. Her name was April Kelly, and she was making a lot of money because she just wrote Nanu Nanu.
Really?
Yeah, and her boyfriend Nanu Nanu, that was her, and her boyfriend at the time was David Letterman, this kid named David Letterman, you know, and
No
it was just, these
kidding.
are all
Oh,
people
my
when
God.
and then I moved out here, and then saw, you know, all these people came.
You
grew
hear it
so-
first on the Bob Dean
Yeah,
Show.
it's funny, yeah.
Ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, seriously, this is
I
Hollywood
know, and
legend.
that was just in Tampa, Florida, you know.
Nanu Nanu.
Nanu Nanu.
Michael, let's hear more.
Okay, let's see. The next clip, the question was, what was your first paying job as a comic? An important topic.
The question is, what was your first paying job as a comic?
Used to be a place, my first paying job was a place in San Francisco called The Intersection, and we'd get paid like $1 a night to play there. Or he would split the pot, and he would take, 40, 50 people came to see the show, he would take the $38 and then give $1 to each comedian, the man who ran it.
Okay, so this next question, how would you define, we're getting really deep here, how would you define comedy? What's the essence? What do you think makes something funny?
How would I define what's funny? Or what makes me laugh?
That was pretty good.
I hit the slow playback button. Where are we? I lost track here.
It's the story of my life.
I don't know.
What, slow or lost track?
Lost
Or
track.
what makes me laugh?
And
To me,
slow.
it's-
Okay, let's
There are
go.
like two different types. There's the type that comes from when you really touch on something really so truthful that you have no other choice but to laugh. You can laugh or cry.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's
Okay.
like a,
That's how I talk normally.
I don't know. How would I define what's funny? Or what makes me laugh? To me, there are like two different types. There's a type that comes from when you really touch on something really so truthful that you have no other choice but to laugh. You can laugh or cry. I mean, it's like a release. When you really laugh, you're releasing that. If it's something very truthful, it's either releasing the pain or just the sheer recognition of, oh my God, that is so true. Or there's also another type of comedy that's just so outrageous, you've never seen it before, you laugh out like, whoa, what's that? You know, the shock of it, just like, you know, takes you someplace new and you, my God.
I love laughing.
I do too.
I love hearing how smart he was because you don't see that through the comedy. You don't see
No,
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
This is
Very-
a very
thoughtful
calm
and
Robin.
in-depth, you know? Yeah.
Oh, he's amazingly bright.
Yeah, from everything
Yeah.
I've read, especially with his, you know, he was saying that he went to, I wish I could remember the all-boys school and that sort of thing, but his upbringing was pretty conservative. And when he did go to that high school in Redlands or Redwood City, or Northern California, the article was talking about how that's when he just kind of like branched out a little bit, you know, got a little bit more loose. And he's just neat. I don't know. I'm just excited about this whole thing.
This is great. And you write comedy as well, and you're also
Well, I'm trying.
Well, you know, we were talking about this morning, though, because and not to go off on anything, because everything's friggin' racist, whatever you say, if you're a white man of privilege like me. But this comedy writer was on there talking about how whatever race genre you are, you have to. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It seems like anymore, you just got to be so friggin' careful about what you say because somebody's going to be offended somewhere. Yeah. And the next thing you know, it goes into a lawsuit. Well, like I said, I got nothing, so I'm going to start going in that direction.
Aren't there a couple of comics that still do just let it rip?
I think
Yeah.
so, yes.
But it's just the case in, well, I won't go into the case in point because you have to watch KTLA News. But I thought he was absolutely on point. Is that you can't? There's a lot of things you just can't say anymore.
I mean,
and that's comedy. It's always been
Blazing
okay.
Saddles would have never.
With the exception of the N word, which we all know is just the worst word ever, and it's awful. But it's like white people can pick on black people, black people can pick on white people, Asian people can pick on white people, and black people can pick on Asian people, and blah 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 blah. Because it's comedy.
Yeah.
You know, or it's insecurity is what it is. I only pick on other people because I'm insecure about myself.
And like Robin said, it hits on the truth. But now when it hits on the truth, it hurts people more. Making them laugh.
Very well said. When it hits on the truth, everybody's like, ah.
Well, it killed Saturday Night Live because they couldn't. So much of their comedy way back in the 70s and stuff was, there was. I mean, even Garrett Morris,
it's like I'm waiting for somebody. I'm waiting for somebody to take a lawsuit out on TV land because they're playing All in the Family. Really? It's just a matter of time before somebody is offended, and it's like, screw you.
It's just you got to laugh at yourself.
Well, you got to laugh at that because what it did was it made fun of
students. Survive.
And like All in the Family, in my opinion, it made fun. It showed that stupid, ignorant, racist people still had hearts, and people that like the Jeffersons who were being picked on still had hearts to love them back. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous the things they said to each other, but at the same time, they knew that they were just human beings.
Well, the other day I got a haircut, and I was trying to show my hair to my girlfriend, and I can't do a selfie. I look ridiculous. So I took a picture, and I look like a deer in the headlights. So I thought, I'm just going to blur my face out, darken it. I'm going to darken my face out. And then I darkened it out, but you could still see through it, so I painted red lip, just playing around. Well, I blackened my face out with... And I sent this picture. And just trying to cover this horrible expression. And I was like, oh my God, I just realized what I sent you.
You did black. You did.
But my hair looked fabulous.
There you go.
That'd make a great T-shirt.
Oh, I'll show it to you later.
Seriously. Will you make it a T-shirt?
Oh, God.
For the Bob Dean Show? Yeah.
I have
seriously.
red lips and blue dots on my eyes.
Oh, my God. That'd be a great T-shirt
Yes,
for the
it
show,
would.
wouldn't it? Because we are working on a T-shirt
And
right
it
now,
was
so-
all innocent.
Of course. Well, most of the times it is. Mike, do you have another clip to share with us?
That's all that I had prepared.
That's fine, because we'll have you back with some more.
Okay, because
Absolutely.
as a matter of fact, where we left off, I think was about 10 minutes into the 45-minute interview.
Oh, great. So there's a lot more that we can work another episode around. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Oh, love it. Love it.
We'll wait and see if I have to put.
Well, let's see if we get
if I
sued
have
first.
to sue anybody first before.
Now, what we're going to do is, because we're going to work on that, doing another episode soon, and I can bring some of the others that knew him on as well. But y'all want to play a little bit of Just Jump?
What's that?
How much time do we have?
You have 15 minutes.
Oh, cool. Let's play some Just Jump.
Explain Just Jump.
May
I
I?
thought that was when I
Now.
was depressed and I was
Now.
supposed to just-
What this is Dennis found this book. It's Answers to Today's Etiquette Questions by Amy Vanderbilt. Amy Vanderbilt's Everyday Etiquette Questions. Now, the book was published in 1957. And on a recent episode with Danielle Edison and Ben Good, Ben named it Just Jump. So how we play the game, y'all, is Dennis, or one of us, you want to do it, read? We'll just flip through and find a question. Well, of course, the one that's not too long. And he'll read it to us. It's an etiquette question from 1957. And then we all put our heads together to see if we can answer it. Okay? Is everybody ready?
Got
Like,
it.
Just jump. Doom, 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 doom. Ah! I pushed her.
What's the proper way to get the attention of a waiter or a waitress in a restaurant?
I always raise my hand like a teacher, like
Like you're in third grade?
I'm in third grade for
Teacher.
everything.
Okay. Now, can you repeat the question
The
again,
question
please?
is, what's the proper way to get the attention of a waiter or waitress in a restaurant?
Pretend you had a heart attack.
That's right.
Exactly.
It
oh.
does work.
That works.
Light a
What do you
cigarette.
say,
They'll
Bob?
come right over to have you put it out.
What do you say, Bob?
Well, my serious answer is
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, let's see what the proper answer
what
is.
does
A good
Amy
waiter
say?
or waitress is attentive at all times to the possible needs of the patron. All that should be necessary in a properly staffed restaurant is for the diner to lift his hand or one finger in a summoning gesture. If this fails
Now
to
that's
get the
the w-
attention, if this fails to get the attention, the diner calls softly, "Waiter, waitress," not miss. Glass wrapping, a European expedient. should be resorted to only in desperation. You may also ask another waiter or waitress to fetch yours.
How about
Thank you, Dennis Olson, for that. And did everybody notice that I got it right the first time?
She got it right before you.
I thought did you?
Raise
Oh, I beg your pardon. Oh, damn it.
Yo, snap my
Yay.
fingers. Hey, over here.
Hey,
I was just
I've
on.
seen people do that. It's ridiculous.
Oh, please. You should. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I tried to steal your thunder, Cat.
But it's okay. You can have some of my thunder.
Well, because now it's like I don't pay any attention to anybody anyway.
It's all about me.
You know, that reminds me of a story I may have told this, but I'm going to tell you again. My dad, my sister, and I, God rest my dad, so we were having drinks in the Nashville airport. This is like the mid-'90s. My sister was on her way back to Philadelphia, and my dad, we were having drinks, and the waitress brought around, and my dad said, "Thanks, hon." And the waitress rolled her eyes and walked away. And my sister says, "Dad, you can't refer to the waitress or service people with terms like, hon or sweetie. It's just not politically correct." And I said, "Yeah, Dad, it's not." And my dad, he honestly was mortified because he had been a world traveler in the 50s and 60s and into the 70s. And he really was mortified. He said, "I'm so terribly sorry." He said, "Back in my day, that was like the highest form of flattery to a waitress was, like that was his initiative of good service." So the waitress comes back about half an hour later with another round of drinks. And my dad was so flabbergasted, he looked at her and he goes, "Thanks, Toots. Thanks, Toots." He did. And the waitress was like, "Oof." And I just busted out, man. Thanks, Dad, for that one. That was good. Let's have another one.
All right.
That's fun.
We got it right. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to link so.
That's okay.
Yeah, stack up those points. Why aren't busboys in hotels and restaurants tipped?
Now?
Busboys, the ones that remove all the
That whole
clutter.
tipping thing, that's a whole nother.
Why aren't they
Why
tipped?
are they not
Yeah,
tipped? Did you get that?
because you're gone by the time the busboy's at the
Well,
table
no.
picking up your plates.
Oh,
and
I used to
stuff.
tip busboys. I used to make people put money together in 2 restaurants that I went to because they worked so hard. I'd say, "Put your money together for the busboys," and I'd do a pot around.
That's
the room.
really great.
Yeah, because these places, the busboys always overworked, and these 2 places I went all the time.
Right.
Do you have a thought on that, Mike? Why we don't tip, in 1957? Why or today? Why we don't tip the busboy? Or
Do you have a thought on it? No.
yeah, okay. Well, my answer is because they already get a cut of what the the waiter or waitress is tipped.
Ding, ding,
That's
ding,
true.
ding, ding.
I knew that too, though.
Because the waiter for whom he clears the table shares his tips with him. In resort hotels, however, student busboys are tipped.
Oh, are they? I didn't know.
In certain, in like private resorts and that sort of thing, or
Yeah.
private.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Well, that just gets into another thing I saw on Facebook the other day about how tipping is racist.
Oh,
Racist.
God.
Yeah, it was the
I
same.
remember when they said tipping is un-American.
I haven't been on Facebook a lot.
Well,
lately because
you know
it's gotten
what?
So ridiculous.
I go on Facebook to check on my friends from time to time and to put up notices about my show, but
Well,
I'm
see,
so
that's it, to
it's
promote.
all so friggin' political now, and it's just gotten to be a drag. If everybody has and I respect everybody's strong opinion, whether they're pro or con Donald Trump, but if you got so much to say about it, then run for office.
I think they should just do a page like Facebook, but it's
Yeah,
political.
a political
and-
page. See,
because
that's a
I'm so
great
sick
idea
of the
because
politics of it.
it's great that everybody's voicing their opinion, but not. It's supposed to be a fun.
Yeah, it's not fun anymore.
Social media. It's not fun anymore. It's not at all.
No.
Should we do one more question?
I had 2 marked, so I'd have to find one.
Just scroll through it and put your finger
Just
on something.
do it.
And that'll be our last question of the day.
Can you tell me exactly how to send flowers to a funeral? How do I sign my name, and do I address the flowers to the deceased or his family?
I usually put my name on someone else's flowers.
That's smart.
Can you repeat
Do
the
I
question,
address
please?
it to the deceased?
Howdy.
How thoughtful.
How can you tell me exactly how to send flowers to a funeral? How do I sign my name, and do I address the flowers to the deceased or to his family?
Okay.
Family.
And what do you
I
think?
said family.
Absolute family. And then how do you sign it? With deepest sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Perfect.
When flowers are sent to a funeral, a plain white card is attached with the name of the sender, Helen Murray or Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Wallace, or a visiting card, a husband and wife card, may be used with a line drawn through the names in the case of intimate friends and the message, deepest sympathy from Jean and Hugh, written in ink. The envelope is simply addressed to the funeral of Mr. Lawrence Carl Volkman, Sylvan Funeral Home, Greenpoint.
Very well, thank you. And you know something? I just thought about this. This is actually kind of an informative book now because
I hadn't even thought of those
but
questions.
screw texting. How do you text flowers to a funeral? You don't.
Yeah, right.
You just don't. And does anybody? You know, how do you even sign your name anymore if we don't teach cursive? But that's political. I think
I can't figure that out either.
they're not teaching cursive.
I mean, you
Or
have
they don't
to,
want to.
Are you kidding?
And they don't even want books anymore
How do you not teach cursive?
because they text it now.
You can't
So-
print your name on a check you're signing.
You know what? We're gonna have a whole new episode with
Yes.
some young people. When I say young people, respectfully, to our texting young people, and you can tell us why it's why it's better, and even if you even have any kind of pro or con from experience. Because I have experience from texting with one fat finger, which means I got to go back every 5 letters because I refuse to send it and use you. And Samee can attest to that because she can. And your texts are always articulate and punctuated and that sort of thing, which I appreciate, as well as are yours, John. Joe.
How do you sign an autograph? If you're signing an autograph, it's got to be. I had a woman saw a woman print an autograph. That's not an autograph. It's your signature.
I've been practicing my autographs
That's like
since I was
writing an
20.
X for your
Cursive.
name, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe. You know what? I think that's going to be it for this episode of the Bob Dean Show.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the heat.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
thank you all.
Yeah.
Please, please,
Bob
please
Dean
follow us on iTunes and rate and review and subscribe, please. You can also listen on Stitcher, STITCHER. We are now on YouTube, thanks to Joe White.
Oh,
Joe White.
great.
Yay! John Black. Is that your cousin? I do appreciate it. But follow us, you guys, and rate, review, and tell all your friends. And I will be at the Haha Club on Monday the 23rd. I hope you all will be there. And I want to thank especially Mr. Mike Gaines for bringing in these absolutely wondrous clips from your interview.
Absolutely.
And
That was
if you'll
great.
please come back
My
again,
pleasure.
Thank you.
we'll work on this, okay?
Yeah, I'd like to.
All right. Thank you again. La, la, la. And did I miss anything? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you all. God damn, it's hot. And the air conditioning's blasting in here.
I'm
All
cool
right.
as a cucumber.
All right, thanks for listening to the Bob Dean Show and watching. Yeah.
Ba-ding.